Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today, wherever you are in this great world. We're going to talk about XRP. We're going to talk about SBF a little bit and everything else that's going on in the world as well. So let's take a look. Sam Bankman-Fried to be released on $250 million bail. So where did he get the money for bail? Remember, he only had $100,000 in his bank account. Maybe they should trace this money as well. See if it was stolen money, and if it was, don't let him use it to bail himself out. But of course, that won't happen. It's a fraud case that is unlike anything the cryptocurrency industry has ever seen. The demise and uncovering of the FTX scheme has rocked the market and established Sam Bankman-Fried as a con man with few equals. Now, following his extradition to the United States, official proceedings of his case are set in motion. I still don't believe we'll ever hear him talk. They're going to keep him quiet as much as they can. Sam Bankman-Fried, under proposed bail, would live in California with his parents, so he's going to be under house arrest, and they took away his passport. But here's the thing. I still feel his parents are just as guilty as he is. They were taking stolen money as well. The SEC has charged co-founder of Alameda, Caroline Ellison, and CTO and co-founder of FTX, Gary Wang, with defrauding investors. So finally, Gary has brought charges against the others. But here's the thing. I don't believe that Caroline Ellison will ever see the inside of a jail cell. Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang have pled guilty to fraud and are cooperating with prosecutors. So in other words, they're just throwing Sam Bankman-Fried under the bus. Alameda's Caroline Ellison escapes potential 110-year prison term via plea deal. I can't wait to see what she finally gets out of all of this. The SEC today charged Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang for their roles in a multi-year scheme to defraud equity investors in the crypto trading platform FTX. Now, this is what Gary had to say. As part of their deception, we allege that Caroline Ellison and Sam Bankman-Fried schemed to manipulate the price of FTT, an exchange crypto security token that was integral to FTX, to prop up the value of their house of cards. We further allege that Ms. Ellison and Mr. Wang played an active role in the scheme to misuse FTX customer assets to prop up Alameda and to post collateral for margin trading. When FTT and the rest of the house of cards collapsed, Mr. Bankman-Fried, Ms. Ellison, and Mr. Wang left investors holding the bag. So Gary knew this was all going on. Now all of a sudden he's trying to emerge as someone who's trying to uphold the law, trying to do the right thing all of a sudden. We already know about the phone calls. We know about the backdoor deals. It's too late, in my opinion, for Gary to do the right thing. SEC Chair Gensler says crypto crackdown is just getting started. Now, I feel if Ripple wins the lawsuit, I feel Gary might back off from crypto for a while. But if Ripple was to lose, you could almost bet Ethereum would be next, because Gary already pointed the finger at Ethereum. It's still in the back of his mind. Then this is happening also, and this is absolutely disgusting. Biden pledges to fund Ukraine as long as it takes after Zelenskyy says support is not enough. I mean, are you kidding me at this point? We all know about the money laundering, yet we're going to still continue to send money over there. Because we understand in our bones, he continued, that the Ukraine's fight is part of something much bigger. The American people know that if we stand by in the face of such blatant attacks on liberty and democracy and the core principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity, the world would surely face worse consequences. The American people are prepared to have us stand up to bullies, stand up for freedom. That's who we are as Americans, Biden said. But there was a poll on Twitter about this whole $1.7 trillion bill, and most people were absolutely against it. Most people are done with the Ukraine at this point. We have big problems here in the U.S., and no one is addressing them. Senate passes $1.7 trillion spending bill with help from Republicans. Now, you got to keep in mind, this isn't only Democrats, it's Republicans as well. The America you were born into no longer exists. And you see how they carry around Zelenskyy through Washington, holding up the Ukrainian flag and showing so much support for him. But here we are in the US with people barely being able to buy food to feed their families. There's no help and no support for them. We live in a place called America Last, a place where Americans get punished for being born here. GOP hardliners refuse to clap stamp for Zelenskyy as Ukraine president asks for more money. Now, these are the people you got to keep in mind next time you go to vote. So, reps, Lauren Boebert, Republican, Colorado, Matt Gaetz, Republican, Florida, both refused to clap for Zelenskyy when he entered the floor for his speech, and Andrew Clyde, Republican, Florida, also refused to participate in at least one ovation for the president. Meanwhile, Representative Thomas Macy, Republican, Kentucky, did not even attend the speech, despite being in Washington at the time. He even said, "I'm in D.C., but I will not be attending the speech of the Ukrainian lobbyist," he wrote on Twitter. You know why? Because they see what we see. We see money going over there, and this guy, Zelenskyy, enriching himself. This is not helping the Ukrainian people, period. XRP accepted as payment by top Dubai real estate developer. Now, while you see everything going on in the world, Ripple again never looks better. So XRP users can now use their assets to purchase Katura Reserve homes. Last month, MAG, a top real estate developer in the UAE, announced the launch of Katura Reserve, a United Arab Emirates Durham, $3 billion exclusive new luxury residential complex in Medina, one of Dubai's most sought-after residential areas. You could buy a swanky Katura Reserve home in Dubai using XRP, among other things. Again, we see payment corridors opening up all the time. CBDCs popping up utilizing Ripple all the time. On-demand liquidity corridors all the time opening, even during the bear market. Senator Toomey has released new legislation that would establish the first federal regulatory framework for stablecoins. This will be one of Senator Toomey's last efforts to help the crypto industry before he leaves government service at the end of the year. Now, whenever they talk about stablecoins, somehow I feel that they're talking about XRP and XLM. And there's a lot of FUD around the word stablecoin. People like to say, so it's going to be pegged to a dollar. That's not what it means in any way. These are going to be the coins used in the new financial system. They're going to be at a high, stable value. You can't have the price of a cryptocurrency fluctuating up and down, because the real world would never accept that. Think about it. You want to send a payment on Monday, but the price is down. You'd always want to wait until the price goes back up to send the payment. The world doesn't work like that. David also said there would be big news this week. The universe has spoken. Brad Garlinghouse at 589 followers, and at the same time, David Schwartz at 985. Now, David said there could be something big on the 22nd. But I never like to put dates on things, because you see what happened with Hodgkinson talking about a settlement for XRP on the 15th of this month. It didn't happen, and people resented him for it. But David said some big news is coming. We're going to have to wait and see what it is. Deaton said people are still spreading FUD about XRP, even though the U.S. government acknowledged a crypto asset utility in 2014. 9 years ago, in 2014, the U.S. GAO declared XRP as a virtual currency utilized in a decentralized payment system called Ripple. Yet 9 years later, we still see FUD being spread intentionally, ignoring a decade of utility. An opinion is one thing, facts are another. That's why I always tell you, when you invest in something, look at the facts around it. It's not hard to see the utility behind XRP. It's not hard to see the fact that XRP is about to be moving all the world's money inside of that new financial system. CBDCs popping up left and right are the easiest way to see the proof. So then we go back to 2020. Now, I wanted to share this with you because this is how it looked 2 years ago. Bro, look at these comments when Ripple and XRP got attacked in 2020 by the SEC. No one stood by our sides. People were joyful of the downfall of this token. 2 years have passed and people slowly coming back because they know no one's out of reach. And we see here, well, maybe you shouldn't have used XRP as a tool to fund Ripple by dumping it on investors. And no, they can't limit innovation to Bitcoin because it's actually decentralized, unlike XRP. Push me to the edge. XRP is dead. The SEC is attacking Ripple, not crypto. If you think you're going to get widespread support from the crypto industry in this, you are sorely mistaken. It's time for the next pivot, Brad. Now, that was back in 2020. A lot of what was said back then forced a lot of people out of crypto for good. They sold their XRP at a loss and left crypto. But here we are 2 years later. Now we're starting to see a lot of support for Ripple in the case against the SEC. The world looks a lot different today than it did 2 years ago. We're starting to see a new financial system literally get built from the ground up. At some point, XRP is absolutely going to skyrocket in price when on-demand liquidity goes live throughout the entire world. I just hope some of those people that left crypto back then at some point came back into crypto, realized that they sold off of FUD, sold off of just basic people talking about a case with the SEC that they knew nothing about back then. Because look at everything that has come to light today. Look at all the corruption at the SEC. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse criticizes double standard in Wells Fargo fine case compared to FTX crash. So Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse recently likened the recent Wells Fargo fund management fiasco to the collapse of FTX. However, Garlinghouse disapproved of what he perceived as a hypocritical reaction to Wells Fargo case. According to the Ripple CEO, the leading American bank $3.7 billion fine for mismanaging customer interest was on the same scale as FTX's monumental fall. However, Garlinghouse said the outrage directed at Wells Fargo turned out to be barely noticeable compared to the sunken crypto exchange. The Ripple CEO took to Twitter to share his thoughts on the matter in a post that read, "The world is appropriately outraged by SBF and FTX's fraud, but when Wells Fargo mismanages billions in customer funds as well, it's barely a blip on the radar. Food for thought. Brad sees what we see. If a big bank gets into trouble, it's barely even talked about. But if it has to do with crypto, it's all over the mainstream media news, and crypto is dead. And that no one should ever come into crypto. No one should invest in crypto. But we know better because we're in crypto already. We see what's about to come. I believe everything is about shaking out the retail investor. Frustration sets in. People sell. Now's the time to be patient. The finish line is just ahead of us. It's coming faster than we think. Stay strong and stay positive. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you watching my videos. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.